Okay, welcome to this part 3 of this video. In part 3, I'm going to explain a little bit of the brain and how it functions. Basically, the memory in our brain is made up of two broad categories. The first category is what we call explicit memory. This explicit memory retains numbers, shapes, sizes, and events. Some people in neuroscience area, they call it semantics. In implicit memory or muscle memory, this has to do with your motor neurons, the actions that you carry out. That is what we call, like brushing your teeth and clipping your nails, are what we call implicit memory. Within these two broad categories of memory, there is two other divisions of it, which is based on time. These two divisions are called short-term memory and long-term memory. In short-term memory, what we are talking about, those things that you are thinking about currently, actively, intensely, with awareness now. In long-term memory is what we call those things that you have are maybe not active now, but you can recall it when you want it, and it's stored very deep into your brain capacity. And examples of this may be your childhood memories, or the number of your house 10 years ago that you lived in. Now, knowing this memory areas is one important thing to the next part, which is what we call the brain. The brain tissue is not just one chunk of tissue. It forms, it shapes, and it becomes more flexible as time goes on. They are not static. They are not unmoving tissues. They keep moving all the time, changing shape. Now, the part of the brain which is constantly changing and changing shape and size is what we call the synapse. This synapse is what neuroscientists call brain plasticity. That means the elasticity of this synapse to form different shapes and sizes is what they call plasticity, the plastic parts of the brain. When you take a short-term memory, the more intense the action in short-term, the more plastic your synapse will be. So, knowing that, how we connect with the previous part that we talked about is, the more intense your action, the more flexible and indispensable your plasticity becomes, and the synapse will start to connect different neurons in different locations, different places. This is the reason why some people tend to be a little more intelligent than those who just work on the memory part of the education. That means they just memorize things and regurgitate to the teachers what they have memorized. Intelligence is measured by the plasticity, the brain plasticity of your synapse, the capacity of it to connect to different neurons in many places. Now, how does meditation and yoga help to increase this plasticity of the brain? By being in awareness and in attention and doing it intensely, proactively, the synapse try and changing shape and form to connect different areas of our long-term memory. Now, under microscope and by magnifying it, the neuroscientists have found that synapse in the shapes of a mushroom, in the shape of a small hill, and sometimes like a broad mountain. This really proves that the synapses are responsible to connecting our neurons in various ways. Now, we should not reduce this just to a fundamental theory. There's a lot of applications to it, and I'll talk about these applications in the next part.